War is hell. That's about the size of it. Being in the war was the best thing that ever happened to me. And I told it when I was in the service. I figured that was the best time of my life. I was underage. I wasn't old enough to be there because I went in when I was 16, lied about my age, and got drafted. I weighed 108 pounds, and that's what you had to weigh. First time I went to take physical, I didn't make it. I didn't weigh 108 pounds. It's the second time I went over, I was 108 pounds, and I made it. But after, getting overseas and into this crap, I decided, well, this is no place for me because a guy can get killed here. A kid named Chappelle from New York, he was first gunner on the machine. We had a first gunner and a second gunner. And the first gunner carried the tripod and the second gunner carried the machine gun. And the other guys behind were ammo bearers. But here, he got killed up in here during the fighting. And I think it was 2 days later, they tell you machine gunners don't last long in combat because everybody wants to kill them, because you sitting there with a machine gun and the enemy don't want you still kicking and moving. So 2 days after this is when I made the gunner on the machine gun. And then there's a kid named Lane who took Chappelle's place as gunner, and he got killed right outside of Hanover. That's the one I mentioned about. He was setting up the gun, and we was in this bomb crater. And I seen the bullets, tracers flying over his head, and I knew he was going to get hit. And I tried to say, get down or duck or something. And I remember my mouth was going, but there wasn't nothing coming out. And he got the top of his head blowed off. And that's when I made gunner. And Swallowsdale was the town we were in. And down the road, a little ways there's some guys down there, and they had one of those multiple 50 caliber machine guns mounted. I think they got about 5 machine guns, 50 calibers mounted on them, and a shield that the guy gets behind. And off down in front of us, our gun was set up on anti-aircraft mount, which is just a leg set up for the machine gun on top for shooting at airplanes. But anyhow, there's some planes down there. I think there was 3 of them. And they were just tearing the devil out of things, just strafing. And this 50 down here, he was banging away at them. And this 30 caliber machine gun I had, I didn't figure that thing was gonna carry that far to do any damage. But anyhow, one of these planes turned and come towards me. And I was standing in this, like an alley. And I was standing in the middle of this alley with my machine gun there. And here he comes towards me. Now, it ain't that I'm a coward, but anyhow, I look and I see them damn machine gun bullets from him coming up that. Now, if I'd have stayed there, he'd have tore me up good. So I ducked over behind the building and let him come up and do his thing. Then I started shooting at him after he got past, but I never did get him. Now, I thought that was kind of comic. But one of them, these 50s, was shooting at him, and the pilot, he started up this way, and the machine gun was still going while he was going up. And these 50 guys down here in the 50 hit him, I guess. But he bailed out. The plane was going up this way real slow, and he bailed out. And then some guys in a Jeep jumped in a Jeep and run down there to capture him. Then here's something that I remember pretty well. We were supposed to cross the Elbe River, and the next morning, and I got a feeling. I knew if I went across with the first wave, and that's what we were supposed to do, that I was gonna die. I knew it. I knew I was gonna get killed. And I thought, well, I'll go talk to my captain and tell him I don't want to go with the first wave if I can go with the second wave. It's just a feeling. I knew that if I went across that river in the first wave, I was going to die. And so I figured, well, I'll wait till morning and talk to the company commander and tell him I don't want to go with the first wave. But anyhow, next morning I woke up and the sun was shining in the window, and I thought, oh my God, I died and gone to heaven. Yeah, I really did. But after I woke, I knew that we didn't cross the Elbe. They changed the orders, and we got set and let the Russians come to us. And well, they were, oh God, there was German prisoners over there, thousands of them. They didn't want to get captured by the Russians because the Russians was treat the Germans just like the Germans was treating Russians, civilians. They'd kill them. The Germans said that the Russians was like animals. They, weren't fit to live and this and that and the other, and they just killed them off as they was going up through their place to Stalingrad. But so the Russians, they just decided they're going to do the same thing back to the Germans, and that's what they did. But anyhow, they told us we'd had so many prisoners. They said our PW cages is full. We got no more room for prisoners. And said, you guys shoot at them. I said, shoot over their heads and make them run back because we got no more room to take prisoners. And of course, at the nighttime, you shoot we didn't know whether we was shooting Germans or just shooting into the trees or what. It was a German general. And when we was on the Elbe, he came over and I captured him. Well, he surrendered to me. I say I captured him, but he surrendered to me. And he asked me, he said he wanted to go back across the river and get his field wife. Because the officers, they had women that they took with them and called them their field wives. And when it was all right if I let him go back across the river, and he brought her over, and if we would treat him, decent. I said, sure, go get her. But I said, you come back, you cross the river at the same place, and you bring lots of pistols with you, because everybody wanted pistols for souvenirs. He said, okay, so I let him go down and go back across the river. And when he come back, he crossed down the river 200 or 300 yards away from us. But when they brought him up behind, we was on a dike on the Elbe, and they were bringing these prisoners up behind us, and I looked, and here's that general. And I hollered at him, I said, oh, hold on there. Bring that boy up here. And I asked him, I said, where's my pistols? He said, your buddies, he could talk English, he said, your buddies down the road, they got them when they, captured. I said, well, you supposed to come back here at this same place. Well, we couldn't get back here. But anyhow, we didn't get the pistol. But I had a notion of, sending the sucker back across the river. But I didn't. And they took him on. And like I say, I thought that was something, me catching a German general.